Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Today I want to go over a new foundation routine that I'm doing. I am constantly changing things that I do with contouring and highlighting and foundation, always experimenting with new techniques. So this is the result of that. It's a new technique that I picked up from Wayne Goss actually, so a lot of you have probably seen it already, but I wanted to show you it in action on someone else. And the second is I wanted to talk about a new foundation that my friend over at Essence of Makeup by Sarah sent me, and it is the Arbonne Perfecting Liquid. This is amazing. I didn't expect it. I'm a little bit skeptical, and she will attest to that, and that's probably why she sent it to me, because she knows that I love my MAC and my skin is difficult, and I know it's really hard to find a foundation that matches me. So I'm super happy that I love this foundation. In person I wasn't like over the moon impressed, but then I started taking photos and oh my god, it photographs beautifully. I've never had a result like that, this flawless sort of skin, well, at least as flawless as I'm probably going to get my skin without airbrushing. So yeah, stick around. I'm going to show you this in action. I should probably put it somewhere where you can see it. I'll show you this guy in action, and also the technique of putting on a sort of light veil of a mineral foundation before doing my proper foundation. This is not an everyday look. Please don't think this is an everyday look. This is something that I would do very rarely. If I was going out like at night or something, I would not wear this during the day. I would not wear this every day. This is a lot of makeup. So a couple of tips along the way on concealing under eye circles. I had a friend ask me for that, and I also had a friend ask me for how I do my contouring and highlighting. So this will be a sort of combination of it all: my current foundation routine, my current contouring and highlighting, although I do it in a weird order, please forgive me for that. So if you want to see my results on how I got this look, stick around. Thanks. Bye.
So before I get into the tutorial, I wanted to preface this by saying this is going to be a very talk heavy video. I'm going reasonably in depth with techniques and reasoning behind them for the tutorial. I'm also giving a running review on the foundation when we get there. This was a requested video, so I guess I apologize in advance, and I hope that I cover everything that was asked. I'm starting out with my Too Faced Primed and Poreless Primer. I'm just going to be using my hands to apply this. I'll be using two primers today, so I'm going in lightly with both of them. After letting that sit on my skin for about 30 seconds, I'm taking my L'Oreal Lumi Magique base and focusing that on the center of my face and where I'll be highlighting. It's just to give it a little extra glow from underneath. Now I'm going in with my Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer under my eyes. I'm just going to be using my fingers to gently press a small amount of that into my skin. There's some basics to understanding what concealer to get to correct dark circles, rather than just trying to load concealer on top and cover it. Now we all know that things like diet, hydration, sleep, and even genetics all contribute to dark circles. So I'm not going into any of that. We're talking about making them go away with makeup here. So the best defense against dark circles is knowing what you're up against first. For example, what color are you trying to neutralize? Once you figure out what color you're trying to neutralize, then you can establish what shade of concealer or corrector is going to work for you by simply Googling a color wheel. Then whatever color is on the opposite side is going to cancel out. As you can see, I use a salmon colored concealer because my circles are of a bluish purple hue. The basic theory here is we aren't trying to highlight or add colour to the skin, we're trying to make the skin look like the rest of our face. I think a lot of problems happen for people when they try to conceal and highlight in one go, which is fine if you're working with a fairly even base to begin with. But if you have darkness on the inner portion and not on the outer area, you're going to need to correct it before applying any sort of highlight. Onto the foundation. I'm taking this Beauty Bay Mineral Foundation and buffing it in with a Sigma F82 Kabuki brush that I've lightly misted with water. This isn't meant to be a full coverage application, it's just adding a thin layer to even out my skin without adding too much extra texture. It also means I can use less of my liquid foundation when it comes to that point. And as you can see, it's just given me a slightly more even base to work off. Now for the main event. I'm using the Arbonne Perfecting Liquid Foundation in Alabaster, and I'm going to be stippling it onto my face using the Sigma F80 Flat Top Kabuki. While I'm doing this, I just want to talk a little bit about this foundation. Yes, it was gifted to me by a friend. She does sell Arbonne products, and I will leave a link below to her because I think that's only fair. But I do want to say that I was in no way forced or paid to do a review or even asked to say anything about it. She simply gave it to me as a gift because she had it spare and thought I might like it. I will never ever recommend anything that I don't actually like or stand by. So I will mention a few of the pros and cons I find about this foundation. Pros being it's a beautiful medium to full coverage foundation, definitely very buildable. I love the consistency of the product. It's very lightweight, it applies smoothly and evenly, and you really don't have to use much of it at all. In fact, I used maybe a third of the one pump that I placed on my palette because I'm still getting used to it. Another thing I really like is that the packaging is plastic. I think that might be because I'm a bit of a klutz, but it's not cheap looking or feeling or anything like that, but I often worry about my glass products breaking, and I just feel safer knowing that the plastic is probably not going to break as easily, especially when transporting or traveling and things like that. A few other quick pros worth mentioning: it's vegan, it's cruelty-free, it's gluten-free, and it has an SPF of 15. So again, I will provide links in the down bar for further information. As for the cons, I really only have one with this foundation, and that's the price. It's a higher end product, so it does carry a higher end price at $56 a bottle. I think the quality is there to support it, and if you're buying high-end products anyway, it shouldn't be a drama. But for anyone who only buys drugstore, it's definitely a lot of money in that case. So to finish it off, I'm going in with a slightly damp Real Techniques sponge to make sure it's really blended and pick up any excess product off the skin that doesn't need to be there. I find when I apply the foundation with the sponge only, it seems to waste a lot of the product, and I just can't seem to like anything better than my kabukis. You can of course skip this step, I just think it helps to give you a flawless coverage. Normally now I would go in with my bronzer and warm up the perimeters of my face and areas I will be contouring, but for some strange reason I did this all arse about and I have no idea why. So I'm going to be going in and highlighting under my eyes and through the center of my face with my Gorgeous Cosmetics Camouflage Cream and a Sigma F86 Tapered Kabuki. Also note, I'm stippling and pushing this into the skin to blend it out and doing very minimal sweeping. You don't want your previous work to move, so be gentle and don't brush across it. Also, make sure that you set your concealer with a translucent setting powder. You'll notice I randomly do this later because I completely forgot. I swear I was losing my mind when I filmed this. As for basics behind highlighting, you want to apply a highlighter to anywhere you want to draw forward on your face. As for me, I want to elongate and slim my face. This is helped by drawing attention to the center line. This works in conjunction with contouring, as contouring will make areas recede or look smaller, which is why we do this around the outsides of our faces, around our jawlines and down the nose. We are reshaping with shadows and lights. Now I'm using my Endless Summer bronzer on a big fluffy powder brush to add some colour back. Then I'm taking my Urban Decay Naked Flush palette to contour all those areas I mentioned previously with an angled contour brush, and then using a smaller brush I'm taking that same contour colour down the sides of my nose to slim it down and elongate it. I use mostly powders to contour with. As you can see, I have very fair skin, and I just find with powders you get a lot more wiggle room for deepening a look and blending back to a lighter look if you go a little overboard, which is basically what I do. I go just that little bit too far because when I use my sponge to blend it all together at the end, I tend to lose a little bit of that intensity. Also, when blending the contour on your nose, I find fingers usually works best and gives you a more natural finish. And there I go setting my under eye concealer that I forgot to do earlier. I'm using the blush from that same Urban Decay palette and just applying it along my cheeks. I try to focus my blush in more of an angle down my face. Again, I have a round face and I'm trying to create a sharper, more angular look. Try googling blush techniques versus face shapes for ideas on blush placement. Just because someone says they put blush on the apples of their cheeks doesn't mean you have to too. You'll be amazed at the difference it can make. After I've applied my blush, I take my sponge and go back in and blend it all together. You don't want to look like you have stripes down the side of your face, so harmonize everything by blending out the edges. Then to finish off my highlight and add a little extra pop, I'm taking my Too Faced Candlelight Glow Powder and dusting it over the high points of my cheek, the centre of my forehead, my chin, and the bridge of my nose. I also went in a little lower on my cheekbones with the pink side of that duo, just for a little shine on top of my blush. Then all you need to do is add some lipstick and there you go.
So here's the final look. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you like this video, please thumbs up, share, subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you want to see any more or have any requests, leave them down below, and as always, all the products I used today will be listed in the down bar. So if you have questions on that, open that one up first, you'll probably get your answer quicker.